You don't have to be a star, baby. You don't have to be a star, baby. You don't have to be a star, baby, to be on our show. You don't have to be a star, baby, but you better be bold. Yeah, shake my pom poms. Freddie, you have no rhythm.
You're gonna catch me out. Maybe I'm not the best chair dancer. Maybe that's what it is. I'm not a good chair dancer. You got to catch me out of my full element.
All right, well, Wednesday night inside the Little Hut podcast. Welcome to Brown, 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 that darn Brown on Cleveland. And of course, you got Kimberly Brown and Freddie M. Gates hanging out. And of course, tonight we have one heck of a topic. And I know we're going to make some people uncomfortable. But remember, life, there are two type of women. There's a Rachel and a Harriet. Which one are you? Now, before we go on, don't forget that you got to check out Aletha Johnson of Dream Team Realty. If you're looking for a single home commercial property, new development, call Aletha at 216 375 3681. And if you're looking for t shirts, hoodies, jackets, tumblers, cups, mugs, team uniforms, family and class reunion memorabilia, make sure you call New Beginnings 1111 Creations. And of course, that's Angie Marie at 216 395 7335. Again, welcome, welcome, welcome to the Little Hut podcast, where Kimberly Brown is the only one who don't have rhythm. Not true, because Freddie has no rhythm. So it's two of us that has no rhythm. So everything they say about black people is not true. They say that black people got rhythm, and not only am I black, but I'm a chocolate woman, and I have no rhythm.
I don't claim that. That is Kim's disclosure.
Yeah,
I do not agree. Anybody who knows me, y'all know I got rhythm. So we ain't
but I,
going.
but
That's Kim's proclamation. I got
but
rhythm.
but I saw you dance.
You saw me chair dance. That's a difference. You got to see the whole body in motion to get the full effect. The chair.
Okay, well, come see, come saw. That's up to debate. So one day we're gonna have a robot, like Well, I
Mhm.
don't need to do the robot because I'm already stiff. we gonna we gonna dance off. But at any rate, listen, tonight, let me tell you, this morning, as I was getting dressed, there was a news article that came through my news break feed, and it was about a pastor out of Atlanta. Now, get this, the pastor said something so profound that some people got upset, some people are in duress. Some people are overly stressed. I don't know. Some people said he spoke his best. So here's the situation. This is coming from a mega pastor from Atlanta, Georgia. He said, "Stop blaming white cops for the killing of black kids." He said, "Instead, teach your black children to be obedient towards authority." Now, black social media was set ablaze after Pastor Philip Anthony Mitchell. He's the founder of Atlanta's 2819 Church. He shared a sermon that has gone viral, and not in that good. They say it's not that inspiring, but people are up in flames. He said again, he said, "Listen, black people," he's talking to his congregants. He said, "Stop blaming white cops for the killing of black kids." Again, he said, "Instead, teach your black children to be obedient towards authority." And the reason why he said this, Freddie, because he said he remembered when he was a kid, he was walking through the Hollis neighborhood. Now, the Hollis neighborhood is over in Queens, New York. And he said that he had gotten to a situation with an Italian cop. And he said that the cop held a Glock to his head and dared him to say something. He said, in that moment, he said, I heard the voice of my mom and my dad. And they said, "Son, obey authority and make it home." Brown on Cleveland inside the Little Hut podcast. The pastor said, "Stop blaming white cops for the killing of black kids. Instead, Freddie, teach your black children to be obedient towards authority." Brown on Cleveland, your thoughts?
Yeah. So you sent me the article. I read it. I read some of the responses that people countered his message. He's a mega pastor at a mega church, so I'm pretty sure he's used to making provocative headlines and headway with his sermons. Now I can agree with some aspects of what he stated, because the only what I agree with is within what he said. I heard my mother and my father, and the objective is to get home. That part I absolutely agree with. At the end of the day, we want to get home. We want to get home. But I don't the blanket statement of stop blaming this systemic problem on the feet of those who are guilty of it, other but to be more obedient and subservient to that. So again, I agree with your whole objective is to get home, but at the same token, we've seen our people be obedient and comply and still die. So when pastors make this statement, like, there's definitely accountability within our own that we need to be looking at. But when you make this kind of statement and you reference back to your childhood and your experience, but if you're going to give the people that context, give them all the context of the history of our people. Because if you teach them, feed them, give them a whole meal, and not piecemeal them off this experience that you had, and not letting them understand the bigger picture of when you telling them to be obedient to authority. And so, yeah, that, like I said, that aspect of it, I agree. Your goal, your objective is to get home, but in what scenario are you supposed to, like, not be obedient? Like, are you saying in all situations and all this and that you are to be obedient to authorities, when even if the authority is doing something in violation of your space, your rights, your privilege? Like, yeah. But again, he's a mega pastor, a mega church, and he got a big microphone. So I know it's meant to be provocative, and I know it's meant to engage us in these conversations, which is a good conversation to have, because I'm gonna throw it back at the black church, because we have these mega this and mega that, but our community is still in an absolute disarray. So yeah, can we point fingers back at that too? So yeah, but what
But
you
here's the
say?
thing. Are you are you having this conversation with yourself and other people because he said white cops? Because I can take you back to the Tyree Nichols case. Remember that case where
Absolutely.
the African American male, he was beat by, I think it was 5 or 6 black cops. So I want to take race out. Let's take race out. I think what was so startling for people on social media, the keyboard killers and the freedom fighters, is the fact that he used white cops. And I think that people found that to be disrespectful and profound because of the mere fact you said white, and it takes you back, to your history, because people don't want to feel as though they have to bow down to someone because they are of another race, the white race, especially because of everything that, African American, black people, or my grandmother, my great grandmother would always say, colored folk, because everything that colored folk have gone through. I think that had he just said, teach your black children to be obedient towards authority, I don't think that it would have gone viral. But like you said, he's a mega pastor. So, of course, he's going to say something so thought provoking because he wants the views and he wants the comments. And what a lot of people don't understand is that sometimes people say stuff because they just want views and comments. It's the views for them. It's not that they even really mean what they say, but it's simply the views. But in this case, I think that sometimes you should not, if you're a pastor, you should not use the pulpit for anything outside of biblical teaching. If you're going to talk about, things outside of biblical teaching and preaching, I think that you should step down into your community room and have those conversations, but not over the pulpit. Brown on Cleveland.
Well, that's why he the founder, and he got a mega church. So he said, "I'm gonna do it my way, and I'm gonna say what I want to say in my pulpit, in my mega church." Yeah.
Well, let me put this out for you. Now, this is something else, and this is a sidebar. First of all, pastors, I don't care if they built a church, they are not the founder of the church. The founder of the church, I don't care what church it is Jesus Christ. So, pastors in general who claim or profess to say they are the founder of brick and mortar, I think you're dead wrong. And I don't think you're preaching the right way. I don't think you're preaching the correct message of our Lord and Savior. I just really don't. But that's a whole nother issue because I
That
know
sure is.
pastors will call me with that. And I'm more than willing to have a conversation, with them about that because a whole lot of things they do inside the church that they shouldn't do in a church. But back to this situation here. I remember when I had a gun pulled on me over in the city of Brooklyn. And the reason why the cop said that he had his hand on his gun and he banged on my window is because there had been a lot of burglaries in the community. So I guess because of my complexion, I looked like I was getting ready to burglarize somebody's house. And during that time, I was a manager for a repo organization. And I had just left somebody's home to give them a notice that if they didn't pay their upcoming bill, that the car would be repossessed. I'm doing my job and I am legally parked. But this part of Brooklyn is very unfortunate. This is like, right off of Brook Park, where I was, they don't have people who look like me at all. The mayor's still there. His name is Michael Provocative. I don't care, right? When that cop did what he did to me, the first thing I did, Freddie, I put my hands up and I said, please don't shoot. And I started crying because it's the fear. Because what I knew was this: if I was to move any kind of way, that man would have blown me off this earth. Had I bent down, he probably would have said what? She's reaching for a gun, or he feared for his life. The only thing I knew at that particular time, Freddie, was I needed to get home. I needed to get back to the city of Cleveland. And here's what he told me when I was driving off. He says, don't come back. All I knew is that I needed to get home. So I'm saying that to say this. Our black children, they should be obedient towards authority. Because once you get home to your parents, allow your parents to fight those battles for you. Because even by me being grown, I was not being an activist. I'm by myself. I was not going to get into a verbal confrontation with a white cop in a white suburb where they only have white residents because they were not going to side with this black woman about who was right. Long story short, when I finally got myself together, my composure, I got several activists to go with me to a meeting to meet with the mayor. And we went back and forth. And the end result was that the mayor sent me an apology letter, a letter of apology. And he told me that I was right and that the cop had to go through training, some type of discipline. Probably not. This was just something to appease me. And because of everything I had gone through, they changed some city ordinances because of the way that I was treated. So here's what I'm saying: I was disrespected. I was intimidated. I could have been shot and killed. The end result is that I got a letter of apology, but I was able to change some of their city ordinances because of the way I handled the situation. So it's my hope and my prayer that no one who looks like me would ever have to go back to the city of Brooklyn and endure what I endured as an individual. The plus is that I made it home safe. Brown on Cleveland. Teach your children to obey authority figures.
Absolutely. I mean, I agree to obey authority figures. And again, in situations when we are in situations with authority to that nature that they can kill you, like you say, the battle is not to be fought right there.
Mm-mm.
The battle, you fight it later. Get home. Because if he kill you, guess what? That's it. And the story ends right there. Your word against you dead, so there's no word for you.
Nope.
And is whatever they said. Like you said, they reached, I was scared, whatever the case may be. But it's like, and I feel like teaching our kids to comply and respect authority still goes hand in hand with teaching them history. Because then they understand. Because then they understand. And then, like, what you was able to do is like, I know how to fight this in this manner to
Mm-hmm.
get something done. And when you know thyself and you know your history and you know the the things that are the systematic and systemic things that are in place, you find another way to fight this battle because you don't have to go like that with them. You can hurt
Mm-mm.
them the other way. But I think that when we're saying teach our kids to respect and be obedient to authority, it goes hand in hand. You can't just teach them that and you ain't giving them nothing else to nurture their essence and their spirit. So again, I agree with his statement. And like you said, the white part is to keep it, to make it that provocative thing, because with that Tyree Nichols case, that was just absolutely disgusting. And I think once the uniform is on, there is no color
Mm-hmm.
at that point. Blue trumps everything. They don't
Correct.
care. And unfortunately, your own will be even more heinous and brutal to you than the other. So yeah, that has no bearing. So that's why I focus in on the part of the authority. But I also like to, if you gonna teach them and fill them with that, I hope you filling them with something else too, and filling them completely and wholeness, so that they understand exactly why I should be obedient.
Correct.
Not just because you telling me to be obedient. There's a reason I'm telling you to be this intentionally obedient in this situation. Other than, so that's not like, did as a pastor, if you gonna go deep in it, go deep in it. But if it's just for the, like you say, the views, or to spark this da 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 da, because it
Mm-hmm.
definitely brings more attention back to them. But are
Correct.
we giving, but are you just, is that just the appetizer, or is a whole meal coming with that, with it? So yeah.
Well, a lot of people saying that point was extremely horrible. It was just a horrible example. But I am going to jump on the pastor's side for a moment. I think with the pastor, what he was what he was talking about, if you go back to even the civil rights era, and when you had the freedom fighters trying to register people to vote, and they would warn, young people, not just young people, but old people, but especially our young people, make sure you follow the speed limit. Make sure that if you're stopped by police officers, well, sheriffs at that time, whatever the case may be, make sure that you keep your head down and make sure that you're very respectful with your tone. Because they would always look for a reason to kill you, be it shoot you or lynch you. And I know some people got upset with him, but honestly, I think he was more trying to say, we got to stop our young people from putting themselves in harm's way when we need to protect them. And if we're going to protect them, even if it means just for a second, allow someone to strip you of your dignity, but get home safe and allow us to take it from there. That's the message. It's just like, now we have in schools, right? A lot of our young people, they don't understand the struggle that people have gone through simply to allow them to sit in a seat in a schoolhouse. They have no idea. If they understood the struggles, they wouldn't be running from the school. They would be running to the school. Education, what? It creates financial independence and financial wealth. And if you understood this, you wouldn't be out here killing, stealing, or robbing people. They don't get it. And I will agree with you, it's because they don't know the history. Here's an issue I had a couple of months ago. This is crazy. I went over to John Adams High School, and this is kind of cool because I'm actually John Adams High School keynote speaker on May 8th at 8 o'clock in the morning, right? I'm the keynote speaker. And when I went to the school, they have, if you've ever been to John Adams High School, they have all of these photos on their wall as you walk through the halls, right? And they have people from the civil rights era, and they go as far as Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth. And you know me, I'm a little special. So as I'm talking to the young people, I'm asking them because I'm playing dumb. Well, who is this person? What have they done? This is a high school, Freddie. No one had a clue. I'm asking them questions like, who is George Forbes? Who is Mike White? Who is Judge Jean Merrill's Caper? Nothing. Even some of the teachers. That right there is disturbing. This is a place of education. And all y'all can think about or constantly talk about is Martin Luther King. Do you know we have so many great people in this nation who've done great things, and all you can talk about is King? There's much more than King. And that's not to take anything from King, but it's just so much more. But even our schools are stuck on what our young people should be taught. You got people right here in their era that's doing great things, making history, and all they know is King. So, of course, our young people are not going to be able to relate to what the pastor said because it goes back to what you said. They don't know the history. And if you don't know the history, then why is it important to you? Because this new breed generation believes what? You disrespect me, I'm going to disrespect you. You argue with me, I'm going to argue with you. It's tick for tack. But they don't know that will end their lives because they don't understand the struggle and they don't understand the fact that we've already been down this road. They don't understand the fact that sometimes you got to ride in the back seat in order to get in the front seat. And most times it's not even great to be the driver. It's more successful to be their passenger. Ride in the back seat. They don't understand that concept. So like I said, I don't think the pastor really meant any harm. I think what he did, he was trying to be thought provoking. He was very thought provoking. That's why his video went viral. And it's the reason why he's a subject matter across this here United States of America, Brown on Cleveland. Teach your children, your black children, to be obedient. I think what he should have said also, teach children to be obedient. Two key words. He used white and he used black, and that's why he's under attack. Brown on Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think it's a great way to start a conversation around that subject matter, and but it's like for the pastors, I don't care if you get 20 people in your congregation or 20,000
Hmm.
people in your congregation. If you use that masterful mouthpiece, that masterful way of being able to engage and have 700,000 subscribers on YouTube or whatever,
Yeah.
if you are able to pull them in and engage them like that, and then you're doing these provocative topics, so when you say like they don't know who these people are or the struggle, so then I'm pointing back at us, and that's myself and any of us as Black people and the Black churches, and where are we failing that our people
Hmm.
don't know our history? Because just because you can teach me the word, are you teaching me the history that comes along with it? I need a whole meal. Don't piecemeal me off. I need to be fed wholly, because when you talk about us as a people and what we have went through, and then we don't know nobody but Martin Luther King, and then vaguely here and there Malcolm X, but nothing else. And it's like that struggle was going way before these brothers was here. There was a lot of bloodshed. There is like, but we have no sense of it. And it's like there's no sense of urgency or no thirst of wanting to know this. And so again, to challenge the pastors, like, to, if you gonna give it to us wholly, give me all the things of be obedient, be, and then be, give me that other lesson too, because you gotta intertwine it, because it's, again, if you don't, if people don't get the why, why am I being obedient, and what, give, if you have been masterful enough to create this mega church, and like I said, if you got 20 or if you got 100,000 people, I don't care how many you got, but if you can't leverage that for us to be lifted, I don't, I'm just, that's me, that's my take on it. So I want to see more added to that. I want to see us teaching our kids about our own history, because whose responsibility is it? Because it ain't happening in the schools. What I know
No,
about
no.
us, I knew about Martin Luther King. I learned we shall overcome, and that was kumbaya. We good now. Like,
Right, 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 right,
I
right,
ain't
right,
know, I ain't know.
right.
Like, this man just got killed 5 years before I was born. This ain't old. Like, so the school ain't teach me that. Life taught me that, and my thirst of wanting to know taught me that. Nothing taught me that. Even in my going to college, if you go to college and get a degree, okay, fine and dandy. But if it ain't specific to your history, you still don't know it. That you still don't know it. You got your MBA in business. You don't know nothing about what's with your people. So it's like, yeah, I want us to be fed wholly, and I think it's our responsibility is on us to know that. Don't nobody else cultured waiting on nobody else to teach them about them. Like, why? Who we waiting on? Who we need to tell us about us? Like, I'm just trying to figure that out.
I listen, I hear you. I'm just saying the guy is under fire right now. His name is Pastor Philip Anthony Mitchell. He's the founder of Atlanta's 2819 church. And again, he says, stop blaming white cops for the killing of black kids. Instead, listen, black people, y'all need to teach your children to be obedient towards authority. I am going to continue to jump on YouTube and follow this story because you know me, I like reading the comments because the comments are always very thought provoking and very interesting, and you always get the opportunity to hear other people's perspectives, and it's always good. And then some people just gonna be straight out not so intelligent. I'm gonna be nice tonight and you just gotta chuckle, laugh, and keep it moving. But listen, 1031. Oh, by the way, just in case people don't know, YouTube, not YouTube, Facebook, they got this new policy where they only leave a live video up for 30 days, then they delete it. Well, Kim Brown's a little smarter. So here's what I did. Uh, I Thank you very much. I started a Brown on Cleveland professional page on Facebook. So the only thing that goes on the Brown on Cleveland page are the YouTube videos. So therefore, when they delete the live video, if people have not seen an episode, they can go to Brown on Cleveland Facebook page or simply go to the Little Hut podcast page and check out the video and watch the views go up. Then, Freddie, I have a brand new website coming. Darn tootin', darn tootin', darn tootin'. So I don't know if you want to send me another picture, but the latest picture I'm going to use because it'll have a little area where it has all of the co-hosts. So that's going to be the new website. And I saw some drafts of it today. So hopefully they'll have that baby done in about 7 to 10 days. It's going to be off the chain. Things are coming. So at any rate, guess what? It's 10:30 and it's time for us to get out of here because I have an appointment tomorrow, 8 o'clock in the morning. I got to go and sit with one of the most talked about superintendents and school superintendents in Cuyahoga County. So I have an appointment, Brown on Cleveland, and he better be ready by the time I show up tomorrow because it's going down. You know, it's going. I'm joking because he's probably listening tonight. So, no, but I have an appointment with him tomorrow, 8 o'clock. So I'm gonna be there at 7:45 in the parking lot, in the bushes, Fred. He's looking.
Don't let no cop knock on your window.
Oh no. They're like, what you doing, Miss Brown? I'm going back to Lee Harvard because I got to get back there safe. You know, I don't want you trying to do anything to me. But yeah, so I got to get up. I got to do some things. But if I don't talk to you, you know, have a great Easter, great Good Friday, and all of that, you know, good stuff. And, you know, just be safe. But say your goodbyes so I can say my goodbyes and we can get on up out of here. Brown on Cleveland.
All right. Till next time, everybody. Live, love, laugh, and try to make a difference on the way. I'm out.
Okay. Remember, stop blaming white cops for the killing of black kids. Instead, teach your own black children to obey authority people. That's what the pastor said. Not Kimberly Brown. I say, listen, just teach them to do the right thing always, and we don't have to worry about the wrong thing no days. Now, you know me. Now, listen. I know that you don't like me. Sure don't. And it's true that I don't even like you. We know that. Come see, come start, right? But if you need me, call me. You better not talk about me because I may go on an attack, and that is a fact. But always remember, you don't have to be a star. You don't have to be a star, baby. You don't have to be a star, baby, to be on this show. Come on, Freddie.
But you got to be bold.
Look at us. The Jackson Net 5. Say goodbye.